What if I told you that the feeling you call love might actually be its greatest imposter? That the butterflies, the obsession, that I can't live without you feeling, all the things we've been taught mean we're in love, might actually be warning signs of something else entirely? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to tell the difference. And trust me, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's start with something you've definitely witnessed. Your friend meets someone new, and within 2 weeks, they're planning their future together. They're analyzing every text message like it's a sacred scroll. They've already decided this is the one, and you're sitting there thinking, should I be concerned? Yes. Yes, you should be. Here's what relationship expert Susan Winter wants you to understand. Infatuation and love operate on completely different timelines. Infatuation needs speed. It feeds on that rush, that gap between who someone appears to be and who they actually are. And that gap? That's where fantasy lives. But when you're genuinely falling in love, something different happens. You're not building dream castles after 3 dates. You're actually paying attention to the real person in front of you. You're curious about who they are, not who you've imagined them to be during those 2 a.m. overthinking sessions. Think about it this way. Infatuation asks, what could this become? Love asks, who are you, really? One is about potential. The other is about presence. And that difference? It's everything. But here's where it gets really interesting. Infatuation needs perfection to survive. It's like a hothouse flower. Beautiful, delicate, and completely unable to handle reality. And here's the thing about reality. It always shows up eventually. You know this story. They show up late one day. They're grumpy before their coffee. They have that habit of interrupting that drives you absolutely insane. And suddenly, the person you were so in love with feels like a complete stranger. The worst part? It's not even about the flaw itself. It's about what it represents. The shattering of an illusion you didn't even realize you were living in. Love doesn't work like this. Love is what's still standing after you've seen someone at their worst. After they've failed. After they've disappointed you. After you've realized they're not the flawless character you imagined. Love doesn't require perfection. It requires something much harder. Honesty. Now, this might surprise you, but researcher Dr. Brené Brown discovered something counterintuitive about who feels most loved in their relationships. It's not the people who look perfect. It's not the ones who never mess up or always say the right thing. It's the people who are willing to be imperfect in front of their partners. Think about that for a second. If you're constantly performing, constantly managing what you show someone, you're not actually letting yourself be known. And if you're not known, you literally cannot be loved. They might love the performance, but not you. The people who feel disconnected in relationships, they're the ones building walls, curating what they share, hiding their struggles, their secrets, the messy parts they're convinced would drive someone away. But here's what they're missing. Intimacy isn't showing someone your highlight reel. It's trusting them with the footage you'd normally delete. When you can't relax around your partner, when you're always slightly on guard, always wondering if you said the wrong thing or revealed too much. That's not love creating tension. That's the absence of love revealing itself. Let me say that again because it's crucial. Love doesn't make you walk on eggshells. The lack of it does. Here's something everyone needs to understand. Passion naturally evolves. Those fireworks settle into something steadier, and that's not just normal. It's actually healthy. But there's a massive difference between passion evolving and connection dissolving. Pay attention to this. If you're manufacturing excuses to avoid your partner, suddenly your cat needs quality time. Something has shifted. If dinner plans feel like obligations instead of opportunities, listen to that feeling. Author Stephen Betchen points out that partners in love maintain focus on each other. They notice the small things, the subtle mood shifts, the unspoken concerns. They lean in during conflict, not away from it. When your mind starts wandering during conversations, when you stop tracking the details of their life, when arguments become reasons to disengage rather than opportunities to understand, your heart is already planning its exit. Your mind just hasn't caught up yet. Okay, this is the "wait, really?" moment. Your digestive system might be trying to tell you something about your relationship. Psychologists have documented how relationship anxiety shows up physically. Trouble sleeping, digestive issues, that persistent, low-grade dread you can't quite name, but can definitely feel. Your body often recognizes what your mind refuses to admit. You're forcing something that isn't there. Now, it's not that love never causes anxiety. New relationships can be nerve-wracking for perfectly healthy reasons. But when you're anxious because you know deep down that you're performing a role instead of living a reality, when you're dreading conversations you need to have, that's different. That's your body literally staging an intervention, begging you to pay attention. Here's the most painful realization, and I need you to really hear this. It's not that you were never in love. It's that you convinced yourself you were, often for way longer than you want to admit. We do this for understandable reasons. We want to believe in our choices. We're terrified of hurting someone. We fear starting over. We think we should be able to make it work through sheer force of will. But forcing love where it doesn't exist doesn't protect anyone. It keeps two people locked in a performance neither can sustain, just postponing the inevitable, while the cost keeps compounding. Real love doesn't demand perfection, but it does demand honesty, especially the brutal kind we practice with ourselves in quiet moments. It asks us to distinguish between what we wish we felt and what we actually feel, between the relationship we're trying to build and the one that's actually unfolding in front of us. And yes, that takes courage. More courage than most of us want to admit. So what do you actually do with this information? 3 things. First, check your timeline. If you're calling it love after 2 weeks, pump the brakes. Real connection needs time to develop. Give it that time. Second, notice your body. Are you relaxed around this person or constantly on edge? Can you be messy and imperfect? Or are you performing? Your physical response is data. Use it. Third, get honest about the gap between fantasy and reality. Are you in love with who they are or who you've imagined they could be? Because one of those is a relationship, and the other is just creative fiction. Here's the good news hidden in all this discomfort. Recognizing what isn't love is the first step toward finding what is, not the illusion that crumbles at the first sign of imperfection, not the performance that exhausts you both, but the real thing, messy, grounded, and sturdy enough to survive reality, that's worth waiting for, that's worth being honest enough to find. So let me leave you with this question. If you stripped away the fantasy, the potential, the version of them you've built in your head, if you looked at exactly who they are right now, in this moment, would you still choose them? Sit with that. The answer might surprise you. If this video helped you see something more clearly, hit that like button and subscribe for more psychology content that actually matters. And drop a comment. I want to know, have you ever confused infatuation for love? What was the moment you finally realized the difference?